Portuguese is my first language, so English is my second language. So if I mispronounce something or if you can't understand, please let me know. Use the chat for it. I will strive to make our communication possible. So let's begin. Let's introduce myself. So my name is Bruno. I live in Brazil. I am a Microsoft MVP in the mixed reality category since 2019, and I also work at Avanade as a specialist in the development of immersive solutions. For those who don't know, Avanade is a joint venture between Microsoft and Accenture. It's a software consulting company responsible to implement Microsoft softwares and services. At Avanade, I work at the Digital Innovation Studio, the company innovation cell, responsible to promote innovation in our clients. I have been working exclusively with the development of immersive solutions for about 7 years. And when it comes to Microsoft HoloLens, I've been developing solutions since the launch of the first version in mid of 2015. I usually present myself as a designer who knows how to code. I have been working in the entire development chain, designing, prototyping, technical pre-sales, and the implementation of the project. Today, I work defining commercial strategies and leading Avanade development team in Brazil. Oh, sorry, I forgot to pass this slide. So I will send this presentation for you guys when it's finished in a PDF format with some links, my LinkedIn, my social medias, and things like that. So for this agenda, I split in 3 parts. First, I will explain immersive technology. I will describe the technology, the segmentation of the technology. I will talk about the devices we have in the market. Then I will talk about the heavy industry market, how it's organized and the main points, and then talk about the challenges of this industry and share with you guys my experience in this kind of projects. So let's begin. First, it's very important to have this technical context. What is extended reality? What is immersive technologies and how I can use it? So extended reality or immersive technologies is the same thing in different terms. These terms include augmented, mixed, and virtual reality technology. In this agenda, we will focus on the concept of augmented and mixed reality. To make it easier to you understand, for you guys understand, the concept of augmented reality is project a hologram or a 3D content associated with a target. This target could be a QR code, an image, or even a physical object. So here, if you move the target, you move the hologram, the virtual object. And in the mixed reality, the concept of mixed reality is the projection of holograms or 3D content associated with your environment. Here, the holograms are fixed, or better say, anchored in the space. If you move around, if you look in different angles, you can see the virtual content from different angles because it is fixed on the space. It's very important for you guys to understand this concept. It's very important you guys understand this concept. In the first one, you need to have the target to reference the virtual content. In the second one, in the mixed reality, you don't need a target because the device uses the environment to reference the virtual content. The device has the capability to understand the environment and project 3D content. This is the main concept you need to have in mind. So when we talk about solutions, projects for this kind of technology, it's important. I like to say to my clients, we have 3 different main approaches. You can deliver a custom-ready solution or a custom-made solution. In the first one, the custom-ready, it's a ready-made solution. For example, Microsoft have the Microsoft Remote Assist and Microsoft Guides. They both are solutions from the Microsoft Dynamics 365 platform. In this model, you just sign a license, install the application on your device, and start using it. This type of solution may have some limitations and may not fit in your client needs. So you can create a custom-made solution, a personalized application for your client. Here you can make use of Microsoft services and create a specific interface, a specific workflow. You can connect your application to the ecosystem of your client. So it's the better approach. I use this approach in the industry because we're gonna see industry, it's a very complex system. So to illustrate this concept, let me show you guys some different type of devices. Here in the first, we have the concept of augmented reality. We can project, use augmented reality and ship it in your smartphone or tablet. So here, the physical object is the target. You point your device for this target and you project a 3D content. If you move this physical object, if you move the target, you move the 3D content. A second kind of device you have, it's a smart glass. A smart glass, like Google Glass, for instance, you have different type of devices in the market, Vuzix, Epson, Toshiba, DynaEdge, Epson, and Google. Google come back with the Google Glass Enterprise Edition. So what is a smart glass? What the difference between a smart glass and a Microsoft HoloLens? A smart glass, it's an augmented reality device. It's important to have this in mind. Understand it as an image projector, whose the application is executed in a smartphone and the image is transmitted to the glasses display. So there are different type of devices and manufacturers. So here the image is on the display. It's not surround you. The image is static. If you move your head, the image follow you. In the industry, it's a very common type of device. But it's very important to understand this is augmented reality device. It's not a mixed reality device. So when we talk about Microsoft HoloLens, it's a mixed reality device because he has the capability to understand your environment. He used the Microsoft Azure Kinect to map your environment, create a mesh, and use this mesh to project, to fix it, the digital content. So the difference here is that you can walk around the content. In the smart glass, the content is fixed in front of you. In the mixed reality, you can walk around and interact with the content as it is fixed in the space. So this is the main concepts you guys need to have in mind. The concept of immersive technologies, that englobes augmented, mixed, and virtual reality. The concept that we have different kind of devices in the market, different types of smartphone and tablets, different type of smart glasses, and different type of immersive devices such as Microsoft HoloLens, such as Magic Leap, Unreal, and so on. So let's talk about heavy industry. What is heavy industry? What is this segment of the market? In short terms, this is the segment of the industry that works with heavy machines and heavy products. And for that, there are different types of operation and systems, such as mining. Heavy industry englobes the mining sector, oil and gas, steel works, shipbuilding, automobile. So we can say that everything that contemplates this segment is large and complex. And for this reason, we have challenges to implement this kind of technology. At this section, I will share my experience with you and illustrate some of the challenges you need to deal when making use of immersive technology in the field. So let's begin for our first scenario. Environment. In the industry, the environment is not friendly. You face high temperatures, pressure, dust, residual energy, indoor and outdoor environments, or indoor and outdoor usage, and things like that. The distance between 2 points, the distance from one place to another, it's huge. To deal with these issues, you need to consider the hardware you will be using in your project. The decision, it's very important. The decision needs to be weighted by by a series of factors such as cost. I'm talking about decision to choose a specific hardware. What hardware I will use in my project? I will use a smart glass, a HoloLens, or a smartphone. So to make this decision, you need to weight a series of factors such as cost, ergonomics factors, processing capacity, and the classification to work in a specific industry sector, because in industry we have classification areas with the explosion risk and things like that. So if you are considering to use a Microsoft HoloLens, for example, you need to understand at what point in this operation the HoloLens it will be used, because HoloLens is not a classified device. Think about the user journey. So from the moment they go out in the field, where the device in the start application, till the moment they return to the control center. So HoloLens is not a classified device, but you still can use in this kind of operation. If you use HoloLens for a specific moment of the user journey, so it's a good idea. Or you can use a smart glass. There are different type of smart glass in the market, and these smart glass are classified for operations in the field. You have a specific smart glass to operate in a specific area, for example. But the main message here is don't limit your solution to just one type of hardware. Think holistically to the hardware. You need to understand your customer needs and choose the best hardware or the best time to use in the operation. It's the main point here when you think about the environment. So our second challenge scenario, the connectivity. In the industry ecosystem, is made up of different solutions with different formats and file types. It's a multimodal system. We have different systems talking with each other. Here, you need to consider integrating your solution into this ecosystem. Your application needs to communicate with the industry system, exchange files. For that to happen, you need to think about file optimization. The ideal model is to process the information in the cloud and send it to your immersive device. The immersive device is just a client. Think as Microsoft HoloLens as a client. It just handle the information for the user and allow the interaction. So your whole process happen in the cloud. It's the ideal model. But due to the great distance and friendly environment, we will not always have network coverage in the field. For that, think in the offline. Designing your solutions so that it works offline without constant connection to a network. Think in a workflow where the user downloads the data to the device, perform the activity, and then uploads the consumption data to the system. This is the golden tip that I have for you guys, because here in Brazil, for instance, most of the operation in the industry don't have a network coverage. So the great part of my application, it's offline. The operator downloads the information in a control center. He take his device, his HoloLens, go to the field, execute the process, go back to the control operation, and upload the data. So this is the model I use here in Brazil. But if you have the coverage in the field, you can use a constant connection and things like that. But it's very important thinking in this scenario, the connectivity. And the last one, it's in the most important, the ergonomics. Remember that the operator must use protective equipment such as safety helmet, safety glasses, ear protectors, masks, gloves, among others. Different segments of the industry require different protection measures. Keep this in mind before choosing the device for your project. You need to consider the operator comfort. Ask yourself, how many hours will the operator use this device? What are the working conditions? Is the device too heavy? You need to think about this. You need to put yourself in the operator place. You need to go to the field, feel the sensation of the operator to project a good interface, a good solution. And when you design your application, think about the interface. It's the main point for project immersive solutions. Do not place a 2D screen in front of your user. Think in the 3D. Consider the space that surrounds you and design interface that the user can pick, grab, press. Think in the colors and the texts. This will make it easier to access complex information. For instance, in a practical, in an experience that I had, when I work in a project for oil and gas company, we have an issue with Microsoft HoloLens because Microsoft HoloLens have an additive lens. And this additive lens means that when you use the black color, the hexadecimal FFF 000, you have a transparent screen in front of you. So you need to use bright colors. So you need to wait between bright and dark colors and find the specific point to be comfortable for your user. So what means when the operator goes to the field in an outdoor situation, you have the sun hitting in his HoloLens, and he can't see the interface because the interface was transparent. But in an indoor operation, the interface was good. So we have ways to deal with it. We can change the interface color. You can put a mask in front of your HoloLens with like a sunglass, something like that, to protect the HoloLens from the sunglasses, sun rays, and things like this. So industry have a very specific situations you need to deal and you need to consider in your project. So that's the message I have for you guys. So as a final considerations and open a section for talking with you guys, to conclude my presentation, I would like to encourage you to enter in this market that at the first time or at the first things is scary, but at the same time, it also rich innovation opportunities. Industry, it's a sector for brave, dreaming, and innovation people. And if you are considering work with this type of technology and apply to the industry, Avanade, it's the right place for you guys. So let me know if you have some doubts, if I can help you with some specific point. Any question?
That was very, very great. Thank you so much, Bruno. I'm sure we are going to have some questions. I have questions of my own, but I'm just going to save them. So, if you have any question in the chat, you can just type it or you unmute your mic and let us know. Okay, I think I see a question in the chat. It says, how do you get started designing immersive experiences? Are there any resources to get started?
Yeah, I start to create immersive experiences in mid of 2027, and then I started specific with Microsoft HoloLens in mid of 2015. So as a designer, you have different tools, different methodologies, but the main point here, if you thinking to be a designer to project the experience, the interface, and things like that, you need to learn to code because you need to make to make your ideas to come true. So I can send you guys before this section. I can send some links, some study references for guide your study in design and your or if you want to code something for mixed reality, I can send you links of reference for you. I have some a specific presentation talking about this, and I can send to you guys, so Israel can share with you. But yeah, respond to your question. Yes, there are some methodologies and tools, and I can share you with you later.
Yeah, great, great. To add to that, there is also a tool called Market. It's a Microsoft tool still in beta. It has not been released yet, but to use that tool, you would need to have a device, so either a HoloLens device or an immersive device to use that tool. So it's basically for designing, but it's not out there. I think that is only that's the only tool I've seen for designing immersive experiences. So you can also check that out. There are some videos on YouTube. Okay, if you have any other questions, let's have them in the chat, or you can unmute your mic and ask Bruno yourself. Okay, while we are waiting for anyone that has any other question, I think my question would be, Bruno, how do you find balance between covering so many use cases and considering the ergonomics and comfort? So possibly in a particular use case, this device or this application is going to be used indoors on maybe building or compiling and assembling automobiles. And then in another use case, this device or application will be used outdoors in the field. So how do you combine the comfort, ergonomics, and use cases to cover as much use cases as possible and still give the user enough comfort?
It's a good question. Uh, First, you need to think in the architecture. Here in Avanade is a joint venture from Microsoft Accenture, so I need to use the Microsoft ecosystem, Microsoft services and software ecosystem. So first you need to think in the architecture, commerce, the commerce strategy you need to address to your client. It's the first point. Then you need to think in a specific market. When you talk about industry, we have common issues between the mining, oil and gas, and other industry. So I pick these common issues and transform these common issues in features. So I have an application, a player, something like that, and this player covers the main issues of the industry. Is the second point. Then, when I think about the ergonomics and the interface, I need to go to the field. When I close a project with a client, I go to the field, I understand the operation, I stay a day or a week with the operators to feel, to understand how they work and how I will transform that operation, that journey in application with specific features. So this is the golden tip. Go to the field. Go to the field and understand the user. The user need to use a helmet, and this helmet we can place with Microsoft HoloLens. Then I will consider to use a smart glass and things like this. So these decisions you just have in mind these insights when you go to the field. So then the final one, you need to think holistic to the hardware. I work in a Microsoft company, but not all of my projects use Microsoft HoloLens. I can use a Windows ecosystem, a Microsoft Azure, for instance, application, ship it in a smart glass. So I can HoloLens is a good hardware, but it's not good for all situations. I have some situations I need to use a smartphone or iOS smartphone. So I still can use Microsoft Azure services to ship it in different type of devices. So it's a very complex question, but you need to think in these points: the ergonomics, the hardware, the architecture, and the client needs. So if you balance these variables, you have a good solution. So I have I have a good cases. I work in the last 5 years, but it's not it's still not a public project. I think in the next year will be publish this project, so I can share with you guys these results. But yeah, I would like to share and show some videos for you guys from real operations I have done here. But I think that's it. I don't know if I could respond to your question correctly.
Yes, yes, yes. That was very helpful. So, any more questions? You can type in the chat or unmute and let us know. Questions.
So while we don't have any more questions, I will share this presentation with you guys. Israel will send you the link of this presentation too. So I will prepare a deck with a lot of links for you guys to study how I can develop application for Microsoft HoloLens or another type of devices. Some design tips how I can project interface for this kind of technology and some things like that. I prepared a PDF to send for you guys. I will send to Israel and he will follow forward for you. It will be a good guide for you guys. Start developing this kind of application and solutions.
Great. Thank you so much, Bruno. Would also work on scheduling that live session so we can see how you do this, how you build these amazing solutions live. So in the absence of any more questions, we are going to let Bruno go, but not without saying thank you so much for joining us today. And this was very enlightening and we appreciate it.
So thank you guys. Thank you for this space and let me know if I can help you with your studies and or personal projects. So thank you guys and bye. Have a good day.